This video will cover how to check for missing work in FACTS, RenWeb. It is highly recommended that you check for missing work at least once a week in FACTS. The easiest way to check for missing work is by using the link that is emailed to you, the parent, each Sunday by FACTS. Please note you can also access updated student grades anytime by logging on to your parent FACTS account. Once you click on the link in your email, you will see a screen that looks like this. As the parent, there's a couple crucial columns that we want to be paying attention to. One is the points column, and the second is the status column. In the points column, this denotes how many points the student has actually earned on the assignment. The max column tells us the max amount of points available. The average tells us the percent that the student earned on the assignment. And the status is where we're going to find the missing work. A valid status indicates that there are a valid number of points entered for the student's grade. Anything other than a valid, for example, an incomplete, missing, absent, or pending, indicates that these assignments still need to be completed and submitted. In the case of this student, in their Bible gradebook, I can see as the parent that they have an incomplete status for their Christian Doctrine 15. They have currently earned 0 out of 15 points on this assignment because it was incomplete. As a parent, I can see that that needs to be resubmitted for completion. Scrolling down, I'm looking at the valid status and the fact that there are points in this column until I hit the missing status. The missing status indicates that this assignment was never turned in, and the student has earned 0 points on this assignment. As the parent, I can tell that they need to get those 2 assignments in. Continuing down, I see another missing status here for community service, 0 amount of points awarded, and a max of 50 points available to that student. I can see that this assignment definitely needs to be turned in by this student. And lastly, I can see as a parent another incomplete here with 0 points awarded and 4 points possible. So I have just now as a parent gone through and found all the missing work for my student in their Bible class. Let's take a look at this student's English class. Again, I'm looking at the points possible that they have earned and the status. So as I scroll down, I see that everything is valid here and that there have been points earned for each of these assignments. So that's great for me as a parent. One thing you also want to pay attention to is the comment or the note category on the side. A lot of times teachers will leave deadline notes that can be very helpful to you and the student as far as making sure you're meeting the deadlines for missing work. One thing you also want to pay attention to as a parent is whether or not the test for any given unit has already been taken. For example, this English teacher had several assignments on the Great Gatsby. If one of these had been listed as missing, as the parent, I might want my student to turn that in, but I do need to look and see if they've already taken the test for that unit. So if I come up here, I can see right here that the Great Gatsby test has already been taken. They have a score. Once the test is taken, the majority of our teachers do not accept missing work any longer from that unit. The test closes the unit. If we come down here to the homework category, we do have a missing here, and this is indeed the scored discussion prep for Gatsby chapters 5 through 7. 0 out of 30 points was earned. Again, I would love as a parent for my student to turn this in, but unfortunately, if I come up here, I can see that that Gatsby test has already been taken and that unit has been closed out. All right, looking at this student's environmental science grade book. Again, as a parent, I'm quickly scanning the points and the status, and I see lots of valids here. Lots of points earned, so no missing work in environmental science. Wonderful. Taking a look at this student's financial peace class, I see a status code of excused. Excuse is the only code that means that assignment no longer needs to be completed. It does not need to be turned in. The teacher has excused it fully. It is not counting against that student. Everything else looks valid and has points given. And finally, let's take a look at the U.S. history class for this student. In this case, we have something interesting happening. We have a valid status, but we have 0 points awarded on both of these assignments here. That can mean one of 2 things. Number 1 is that they turned in the assignment and they actually earned 0 out of 20 points on it, and that could be because they did not follow directions or they did not follow the rubric. The second option could be that this assignment was listed as missing previously, and the student did not meet the deadline to turn in that missing work. And so now it is coded as a 0, and that is a valid 0 in that case, which often means that cannot be turned in any longer. And lastly, if you see a code like this that says absent, that means that that work can still be turned in. In this case, the absent work is denoting a Unit 7 test over here. Now, a test can always be taken. We highly recommend that those are taken as soon as possible when the student misses them. Students may schedule their tests or missing quizzes during flex, which are typically Tuesdays, period 8, or they may schedule them during the CHS Saturday tutoring sessions, which are typically every Saturday from 8 to 12. Regardless of which one the student chooses, it is the student's responsibility to schedule that missing test or quiz with their teacher, because it will not remain a status of absent forever. That absent status will eventually turn into a missing status or a valid 0 status, in which case that test score will be hurting your student's grade. This has covered checking for missing work on facts. If you want to be a super thorough parent, please see our video on checking for missing work in Google Classroom.